Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. It's part 108 today and we are back for a big game at the start of our Champions League group stage campaign. Not because we're playing the biggest opposition, in fact far the opposite in the group. It's the third seeds v the fourth seeds and we're at home. So if we win this game, we almost guarantee ourselves qualification for Europe after Christmas, whether that be the Europa League in third or better if we miraculously manage it. If we lose though, or don't manage to win the match, we could be in big trouble. So if you're looking forward to finding out how we get on in that one, as well as in the League Cup where we often falter against Colwyn Bay, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily content from two long-term stories. There's links to all the playlists and the new food channel in the eye above. I'd love it if you could go over and subscribe to that one. And there's a link to the Twitch channel in the description below. As this episode releases, we should be at the start of a bonanza week of live streams over there. Please do head over and follow now because we've got live streams every day and sometimes twice a day over the next couple of weeks, as we've got Euros watch-alongs and FM21 live streams as well. So thank you as always for your incredible support. It really is greatly appreciated. But today our focus is on a massive match. Now when we had the draw in the last episode, we actually thought this would be okay facing Club Brugge. But if I take you to have a look at their side now, it is a lot stronger than we'd given it credit for. We talked about some of the brilliant young players, some of the experience they had in the club as well. But they have just got a stream of really good players that are ranked better than ours as well. And they've beaten Sunderland away from home in a friendly earlier this season. So we know they've got the firepower to do damage as well. Otherwise, it's been a really good start to the season. We've done brilliantly in the league. Barla Town in the last game boosted our goal difference. And we've managed to beat Barrytown United comfortably, who aside from that, have a perfect record. If TNS win their games in hand, they should be up there as well. And in Cardiff Met Uni and our second opponents today, Colwyn Bay are fighting it out. So it does mean at the moment, in fact, that we've got some really good strength and depth in the Welsh League. And that top 4 or 5 is starting to pull away. But before we get into our games today, we're going to have a look at the results since the last episode and a little bit of transfer news. Because we said we were desperate to get one more in, and we did get one more in. It meant that Max Dean moved on. He's gone to Solihull Moors on loan for the season. We didn't need our fourth choice striker. He's picked up a knock again anyway. But Solihull Moors in League 1, so it's not like he's gone to a non-league club or anything. But in his place, we've brought in Ewan McKinnon. He's come from Rangers. It's a total fee of $350,000, so he didn't have to contribute as much on the wage bill. He's an official wonder kid. I end it at that. Now, he hasn't scored in his first 3 games, but he's had some good appearances, some great assists. And something else has caught my eye here as well. He's got 4.5-star potential for our football club, not 5. I just thought that's really interesting, that a player who's officially a wonder kid with massive potential hasn't even got 5-star potential at this club. That shows how good our squad's becoming, and we have really improved it the last year or two. So it's a slight issue we've got 2 left-footed strikers, but they'll settle in and find a way. And if McKinnon can build a partnership with Kane Walters up there, we're going to be in for one hell of a season. Let me tell you that for now. Let's have a look at the schedule to see how it's panned out. You can see 5 back-to-back successive wins since the last episode. 2-0 against Aberystwyth with Kresimir Loza getting the brace. He'll be involved in the backup team a bit more to start with this season. And before long, I'm sure he'll work his way back into. Against Swansea Met Uni, we rested a few players, but it was Kane Walters with a brace this time, the opposite striker. Having a really good season again already. 25 goals in 11 matches. Against Hearts reserves, we had to rest a few. Joe Duffy and Scott Furlong got the first half goals there. Warren Bell started, Cole Lacey started. They both picked up little knocks, but they were all alright. It was a comfortable win. And we even gave a debut to Stefan Orlik off the bench. And Jason Williams got a rare substitute appearance as well. We followed that up with a 4-0 win against Barrytown United, who have been brilliant aside from that match. Walters got the open up, Patrick Malone got 2, and Kresimir Loza scored 1 as well. And in a 7-0 win last time out against Barla, we rested the first 11 for tonight's Champions League game, but Loza got a hat-trick, Duffy got a hat-trick, and Daniel Anderson even popped up with 1 as well. So we are in really good shape, there's no doubt about it. We've just got to see if we can build on it. We'll have a very quick look at what's been happening at the end of the transfer window, because we left you with a couple of days to go. So let's see if there were any other bits of big news, apart from our loan signing, of course. And the one that really stood out to me, not because of the quality of the signing or anything, but Cian Gwenault, one of our first season youth intake players, has joined Airbus UK after a spell at Dunfermline and Annan. He's played 3 games, he is their first choice keeper. But it's just good to see him back in the country and doing well for a good side. So really pleased with that at 27. We also saw Airbus UK going for another player, Taylor Jones, who's an okay backup centre-half, but strengthening the squad if nothing else. There was a little bit of an exchange between Colwyn Bay and Llandudno. One player went from Colwyn to Llandudno, another one on loan the other way round. Alex Evans probably looks the better of the two, so Colwyn Bay perhaps got the better deal there. TNS loaning out a couple more, but nothing massive on deadline day. But just good to see that squads were building their depth, trying to give themselves a chance to compete. And I'm really hoping that will pay dividends this year, because Barla have improved. I know they lost 7-0 to us, but that player they've got there from Cardiff is decent. And hopefully they'll stay up and they'll start to progress. That's all we're asking for here. But that's not important at the moment. We've seen TNS get to the playoff round. We've seen that the Welsh League is developing. We've got to do our job on the pitch against Club Brugge. Otherwise, it becomes a lot harder if the coefficient points drop. So we're in a bit of a do-we-don't we with Scott McKenzie and John Price. They will switch over eventually. There's no doubt about it. But for now, we're happy with what we've got. And this is the squad for today's game. So we've got George Wickham starting in goal, McDonald and Weaver the fullbacks with Price and Whittaker at centre-half, Harvey Lloyd, Chris Broom, Scott Furlong and Dan Wells the midfield diamond, and McKinnon and Walters together up front. One's got 25 goals, one's got none, but there's another with 20 on the bench. We've got Loza, Duffy, Jones, so much attacking talent there. Mackenzie and Malone give us extra strength in depth. It's the best squad we've ever had. Forget about individuals, forget about experienced players and legends at the club. This is the best squad we have ever been able to name. So let's see if it can do the job against the Belgians. In we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so after all of my talk, not so many of the experienced players in. It's a lot more of the younger Belgians apart from that. It's a very strange team selection. I'm not sure why they haven't named an 18 because they had a huge squad of players who were eligible. So I'm a little bit puzzled by that. But we've got our usual narrow diamond. We're going to try and get on the front foot. And we need this to be a win. Otherwise, Welsh football could take a backward step this year, despite the other teams being better. As McDonald gets it to Broom from a throw-in. Can we get the perfect start? Broom gives it to Furlong, 25 yards out. Just onto the roof of the net. It was a good opportunity, but it goes begging. And Club Brugge hang on early doors. And now they've got a corner kick at the other end. Lacow delivers it. Headed just over. Whittaker was off injured, and we really missed him at the back there. He's got a tight calf, but apparently he's okay to carry on. I mean, given the fact we've got 5 days till the next game, which we don't need him to play in, and then we've got another 5 days again, I think we're all right. As Kai McDonald, what's happened there? It's gone down as an own goal. Kai McDonald running onto the ball at the edge of the box, just sort of drilled it across towards the far stick. I think it was going just wide, but it took a little nick off the defender. And it's just worked its way in after that. You can see he's better or as good as anything we've got defensively. But it just took a nick off him. He didn't know a huge amount about it, or maybe he was trying to deflect it for a corner. But in the end, he diverted it into the far corner. So 1-0 to Bangor City, the perfect start as Weaver chips it forward. We can't get there, but the clearance is blocked again. This time long downfield, but Whittaker intercepts for Broom. And we're playing the centre circle to Scott Furlong. It's definitely the first half performance we've wanted. Now, can we add to the goal tally? That's the only question. We deserve 2 or 3. Now we've got to earn it as Furlong gets out to Weaver. Can we score that special second goal? Back to Broom, into Wells, wide to McDonald again, into McKinnon. It's his first goal for the football club. And what an important goal it is. On his weaker foot, just swung at it. The keeper got a hand, it wasn't quite strong enough, and it works its way into the net. But it's 2-0. It's an important goal from only our second shot on target. And it could well help us to European qualification as the ball's into the box from Bruges. Headed away by Whittaker to Wells, who dropped really deep there. And it's chipped clear as far as Kabongo. He gives it to Smith, the Welshman. To Nielsen. Plays a 1-2 with his fullback. Chips it into the back post. And they get there first. Kai McDonald wins it. Oh, I thought we were going to VAR there. Looked a wonderfully timed tackle and he gets away with it. As Broom goes storming downfield, he's got no pressure on him whatsoever. Finally, the fullback comes across. He beats the sliding tackle, but his cross is cleared by Makengo as far as McDonald. He gives it to Furlong, to Lloyd. It's been really incisive counter-attacking play. We've probably deserved a bit more here as McDonald gets to the byline, goes back to Harvey Lloyd. He's got Furlong with him, to Wells. Through ball to McDonald. He scores this time. But the offside flag's going up. In fact, it doesn't go up officially, but we're going to VAR. And when that happens, we know it's going to get ruled out. It remains 2-0 with 32 minutes gone, as VAR disallows a Bangor City third goal. Brilliant first half performance regardless. Well, it remains 2-0 at the break. We've only had 3 shots on target, but we've been really ruthless, we've been really clinical, and we've been good on the counter. And most importantly, bar one early header, we've not looked at any threat of conceding. We will keep our eye on Whittaker's fitness and bring on Mackenzie later if we need to, or if we get a third goal, whichever happens first. As Broom plays a 1-2 with McKinnon coming forward, he's got McDonald on the overlap on the right-hand side. He's been absolutely stunning today. Broom gives it to Furlong, to Lloyd. We look so confident in possession as it switched left to Yesten Weaver. He's charging at the fullback. There's 3 in the middle if he can find them. Instead, though, he's challenged by Kabongo, who clears down downfield. Mlakar gets there, but Whittaker intercepts. It's like a Rolls Royce back there. He's a wonderful defender, Whittaker. We did get offers towards the end of the window as McKinnon got in for nearly £3 million for Matty Whittaker. And I thought at one point we'd have to sell him, as he's got caught there after all my praise. But Diatta puts it wide of the post. But the biggest offer we've ever received for one of our players. In our group, our former head coach club Tottenham go behind at home to Atletico. But we're still comfortable at 2-0, and that's all that matters. As Harvey Lloyd goes back to Yesten Weaver, just inside their half, chips it forward towards the centre forward. Furlong tries to run onto it, but it's all the way through to the goalkeeper. Just overhit. There was no real threat from it. As the long ball forward is headed clear by Price. We are dealing with the aerial threat well, but on the floor, not quite so much. Wickens gets on the end of that long through ball. And this is an increasingly long highlight, which tells me something is going to give here. As Yesten Weaver gets it on the left-hand side, just past halfway. Well slides it into Kane Walters, yet to score today. Oh, he tried his little dink over the keeper, but the keeper stood there and made him look ridiculous. We've got a throw-in on the left-hand side with Weaver, though, into Furlong. Still only 10 gone in the second half, but we've been very good in this second period. We've kept it well, we've been dominant, we've pushed them back. We just need the third goal to show for it. As well slides in for McKinnon. Oh, we nearly get it. It's a wonderful bit of goalkeeping. And it's out for a throw on the Bangor City right. But what a start to the second half on the pitch. As we move into the last half an hour with a very deep defensive throw for Club Brugge. It's in towards Lacau. He tries to switch the play, but Kane Walters nicks in. It falls for Matt Smith luckily though. It's a long ball over the top. Mlakar gets there first. What on earth was George Wickens doing? Got caught miles out in no man's land. But luckily, the centre-forward's finish was just over the empty net, as Whittaker brings it away again to Chris Broom. He plays in Furlong, who's been very dominant in the middle there. Chips it left to Walters, who's drifted wide. He's got 2 in the box, Furlong trying to get there again. Back to Chris Broom at the edge instead, and that's a wonderful strike. Had a poor game until that point, Chris Broom. But he's the man who's going to be the hero. It's the third goal, which means Whittaker will come off for Scott McKenzie. And we can just start to celebrate a nice finish, because this has been a great night in the Champions League for Bangor. As George Wickens rolls out to Price. He's got a left back in support in Yesten Weaver, who plays into Broom. And we're just beating that press so easily in the middle with the extra man. McDonald's marauding down the right again. We know we've said that more than once today. Chips it back to the edge to Furlong. He goes from long distance. What a strike, Scott Furlong. What a finish to make it 4. Broom will be replaced by Malone, I think. Maybe even Tom Jones. I tell you what, Malone on for him, Jones on as the number 10 for Wells, and let's enjoy the last 25, because this has been absolutely stunning. Our visitors today have had 1 shot on target, and this is the great thing for us. Like, you look now and see that Furlong's knackered, and that Kai McDonald might be tired after marauding up the wing all day. And the next game, you can just say, in you come Tom Jones, the best youngster we've ever had. In you come Gwyn Morgan, the second best we've ever had. And they're all perfectly capable of dominating most Welsh teams. It's a really brilliant position to be in. A stunning 4-0 win against Club Brugge. We restricted them to 1 shot on target. And we were ruthless going forward. McKinnon got his first goal for the club. There's so many positives. But we'll be back for Colwyn Bay. And hopefully, no slip-ups in the League Cup. We're back to face Colwyn Bay in the Cup with a few small injury concerns. So Whittaker had a 2 to 3 day knock from the game in the Champions League. Warren Bell we're not worried about, obviously. Because we're going to be working in reverse here. Normally I'd rest players for the League Cup and not the League. But the fact that we've got Cardiff Met Uni 3 days before Atletico Madrid, I feel like I have to rest them. So we're going to play the first team today. They'll have 8 days off after. And Cardiff Met Uni will take the hit. Because I think we might drop points in that one. But given the fact we've battered Barry, they drew at the weekend as well. TNS have already dropped a couple of points. And I'm sure we'll be able to beat them at our best. We've got to focus on the Champions League. If we can nick any sort of point out of the 4 games against Tottenham and Atletico after that Club Brugge game, it guarantees us Europe after Christmas. We've got to be happy with that. We've got Forest Green in the SPFL Trust Trophy. That should be a pretty tough match. So let's go and get into this one. Colwyn Bay should be easier on paper, but we've had trouble galore in the League Cup. You saw in the first game of the season this year, we just snuck through on penalties in the end. So let's go and see what this lineup's got in store. I'm going to give Matty Whittaker the rest for Mackenzie. Just because of that knock, I want him completely fit next week. We'll bring Pasiarek onto the bench instead. The rest of the team I'm pretty happy with. I think it can stay as is. We only get 5 subs in this competition, so Anderson will drop out and Duffy will stay off the bench as well. So we'll have Loza, Jones, Malone, Morgan and Pasiarek. 5 subs I'd love to be able to bring on in every game, to be honest. If they could bring back the 5 subs rule, I'd be a very happy man. But the same lineup with the exception of Mackenzie in for the recovering Whittaker. And I'm hoping against a much weaker Colwyn Bay side, as long as we're not complacent, as long as we don't think we've won before we start, this should be virtually a walk in the park. The League Cup does funny things to us though. Well, an interesting Colwyn Bay side, isn't it? Hajato up front we've seen is a brilliant player at this level. Curtis Dimon solid. Evans they got on loan this year. Julian Ellis in goal, a really quality player too. Peter Blackburn, one of our former youth stars. And Ruben Colwell, a much talked about man at the moment. In this save, has been floating around in the mid-table of the Welsh Premier League for a number of years. In real life, going to Euro 2020 with Wales. It's an incredible turnaround, isn't it? Kieran Hulse up front is the man they've got on loan from Wrexham as well, so they've got a really good side. And they should be competing for Europe again after a season away last year. But let's go and get into this League Cup tie. It should be a good win for us. I think at home we've struggled a bit more this year to an extent because we haven't had the same pitch layout as we'd have at our normal home. But against this lot, we should be able to do our best. As McDonald gets the ball out to Broom. Actually, the pitch suits us here. It's very narrow. McDonald gets into the box himself, but he's shot straight at Ellis. Not the best start in terms of chance conversion, but we look utterly dominant already. But with 20 minutes on the clock, it's all started going wrong. Yes, then Weither with an injury. Let's hope it's not a big one. Gwyn Morgan will come on for him. It's probably the position in the team we have the weakest backup in Morgan Boyce, who's also had his injuries this season. Gwyn Morgan's a natural right back, but can do a job there. But maybe we'd be relying on having a look for a loan if we did have a big injury there. Though we'll hope Weavers is just a precaution, as Wickens gets the ball in goal. Goes out to Mackenzie. I guess let's be thankful it happened after the Club Brugge match. As Broom gets it wide to McDonald. We still need to take care of this game. As McDonald goes charging down the right. Does exactly the same as he did to Club Brugge. Kane Walters gets on the end of the through ball. But he's just offside. The flag goes up. And there's no VAR to check it out here. I think it was off in truth though. As McDonald's got a free kick on the right again. Still only half an hour gone. And they're sitting very deep. They've got 4 at the back. Or they've got a back 5, sorry, as the wing backs are dragged back. And they've got 3 defensive-minded centre mids. So they've only got 2 men ahead of the ball. Kane Walters has been picked to take the penalty. And he is in scoring form to an extent. But Ewan McKinnon scored in the last game as well. So let's give it to him. Just on this occasion, I want to build McKinnon's confidence. If he misses it, this will truly backfire as a decision. He doesn't miss it though. McKinnon puts it in for 1-0. And now we've got 2 strikers in form. Kane Walters can go back to penalty taking after that. But Ewan McKinnon is well and truly off the mark in this episode. Maybe another striker who's going to ease himself in for a couple of months and then just go ballistic. That's what we're hoping for anyway. It's been a good display. Maybe not the completely dominant one we normally have. Yes, we've restricted them to nothing, but we haven't had our 10, 15, 20 shots. 5 opportunities and possession well kept. That's all we've gone for. As Broom plays a 1-2-3 with McDonald into McKinnon. It's a good save by the keeper. Ellis manages to hold it as well. And at half time, I think it's just going to be 1. But it's been a very authoritative display. Colwyn Bay not really had a sniff at all. So let's get into the second half. Hope for an improvement. And fingers crossed, we won't have a bad injury to Weaver. You'll be able to see next time the stats pop up, the expected goals has now reached 2.5, but we're yet to get our second on the day. As Gwyn Morgan goes long to McKinnon, we could have a go at changing it here. Walters up with him, instead plays a 1-2 with Broom. McKinnon's in, oh it's under the keeper. I think he fooled him. I think he thought he was going to go back post, but he didn't. He just slid it into the near corner. It was a lovely finish by Ewan McKinnon. And we're right in control now. The League Cup has caused us no trouble today. So let's see what happens with this highlight and then get some of the youngsters on. As Gwyn Morgan plays it with Furlong. Out to Morgan again on the left-hand byline. Back to Furlong. He doesn't look confident crossing on his left foot there, does Morgan. And Taylor in the end gets a good tackle in. Brings it out from the right-back area. Switches to pocket. They're playing around with it back there and they give it away to Ewan McKinnon. Plays in Dan Wells. Chance to go back to Broom. They could have played through there. Morgan plays a 1-2 with Harvey Lloyd and here he comes down the left-hand side. Furlong plays it with him. We're just keeping it. We're moving it quickly. And we're keeping them chasing. As McDonald gets into the box. The first shot's blocked. And the second one's toe poked under the keeper. Excellent work from Bangor City. It's 3-0 on the night. Now let's go and make a couple of changes. We've got 2 left in the tank. So Walters will be replaced by Loza. He will become a poacher with McKinnon switching to the left. And then Tom Jones will come on for Furlong, who was a little bit tired after the last game. So Dan Wells drops into centre midfield. And Jones is going into the number 10. He's still getting plenty of football. And he's still going to develop quickly. We're glad we've got superstars to choose from here. As with 15 left, it's a throw for Gwyn Morgan again, who's really not looked out of place at left back there. Apart from the fact he's not really wanted to cross it on his left. But McKinnon doesn't mind. Loza gets in and at the second time of asking scores. Off the bench, Kresimir Loza doing his bit. What a free agent signing he's been, honestly. He's going to be a wonderful player for us. It's just how quickly he can develop and if we can keep hold of McKinnon as a wonder kid. He is on the transfer list at Rangers, so we'll keep our eyes peeled on that situation. But I'd imagine his wage demands will be grotesquely high. As the ball's into the box again from McDonald. Tom Jones gets it wide to Gwyn Morgan. Delivers on his right this time to McDonald. Into the box unopposed again. And Kai McDonald puts the ball in the back of the net. It's 5-0 and the floodgates are opening. Colwyn Bay have had to try and engage us a little bit. And they're tiring. They're a semi-pro side. And you can see what that does. 5-0 Bangor City. 1 minute plus stoppages to go. And another brilliant performance. As Harvey flicks on for Colwyn Bay. Dyer gets in behind here. Our defence has just vanished. Harvey Lloyd gets back. Makes what I deem to be a brilliant tackle. It looked fantastic. They've said it didn't look like a foul in the commentary. But instead of a corner, the referee has awarded a penalty. So now Wickens has got to save the clean sheet. But he can't. Hajato scores it. One of the best young strikers in the league and still scoring big goals for Colwyn Bay. Hopefully we won't concede any more because I don't really want to take the gloss off this performance. But I don't think it will. It's a 5-1 win. It's a fabulous performance. We're really pleased with the lads. So let's go and look at when we're going to be back. Because so far it's smooth sailing in all competitions. Oh dear. 4 to 5 weeks for Yesten Weaver. It could have been worse. But it's still not the best, is it? We didn't really want a relatively long-term injury to him. So Gwyn Morgan might get a run at left back. We can think about Morgan boys, but I'd rather go with the youth option, particularly in the league matches. Then maybe we'll just play boys in the Champions League. But let's have a look at when we're going to be back on the schedule. I think if we get the months up again, we're going to get through Atletico Madrid away. We're going to get through Forest Green. And then we'll come back for TNS at home in the Welsh Premier League. And Tottenham away in a Champions League. The reason I've picked those two is at the end of last season when we played TNS with a backup side, we got battered. And we're going to have to do that to rest people for Spurs. But those 2 away games in the Champions League are going to be the worst ones. If we can somehow sneak a point, it will be incredible. It's of course a reunion with our former head coach club. We had great fun with them in our other series. So if you did enjoy this episode and you're looking forward to that one, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. You can catch up with all the other playlists, including our Tottenham stint in the head coach up in the eye above. And if you want to stay up to date with everything, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to get alerts for daily FM21 content. Most importantly at the moment, please do come and follow me on Twitch. There's a link in the description below. We've got live streams virtually every day, either watch-alongs from Euro 2020 for some of the more random games for us a UK fan. And also, we've got plenty of FM21 live streams as well. We're managing Ballymena United over there. We're having really good fun. So I'd love it if you could come and join our brilliant little community. Thank you very much for watching though. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. And I'll see you next time for Tottenham Hotspur away in a Champions League.